Zoe Saldaña just became the highest-grossing actor in film history. But at home, her kids tell her to stop showing off. Think about this for a second. Over $15.47 billion at the global box office. That's more than almost any actor, ever, more than superheroes, more than Hollywood legends. And yet, the people she loves most don't even watch her movies. So here's the real question. What does success actually mean when it doesn't impress the people closest to you? Because behind the billion-dollar milestones, the awards, and the global fame, Zoe Saldaña is navigating something much more human, balancing greatness with grounding, fame with family, and ambition with identity. Zoe Saldaña's life sounds like something out of a dream. She starred in Avatar, Guardians of the Galaxy, Avengers, Star Trek, franchises that have literally shaped modern cinema. But inside her home, the story is completely different. Every time she suggests watching one of her movies, her kids shut it down instantly. Mom, stop flexing. Not joking. Not impressed. Just honest. And maybe that's the most real thing about her life. Because no matter how high you rise, there's always a place where you're just mom. While her kids keep her grounded, there's someone else in her life doing the opposite. Her husband, Marco Perigo Saldaña. He's her biggest supporter, her helium, as she calls him. Every morning during a vacation, he'd show up at breakfast with one thing: box office numbers. Not just updates, celebrations. Until one day, he walked in with news that changed everything. Zoe Saldaña had officially become the highest-grossing actor in history. Let that sink in. Not actress. Actor, she surpassed names like Scarlett Johansson and stepped into a space very few ever reach. But what made that moment powerful wasn't just a number. It was what it represented. Zoe isn't just a Hollywood star. She's a woman of color, a daughter of immigrants, someone who grew up in a world where records like this weren't meant for people like her. And now, she holds one. Not temporarily, not symbolically, but undeniably. Still, she knows something most people don't like to admit. This kind of success doesn't last forever. Records get broken, new stars rise. And she's okay with that. In fact, she says if someone breaks her record, she hopes it's another woman. Even better, a woman of color. Because she understands something deeper than competition. She understands what it takes to even get a seat at the table. After years of intense filming, physically demanding roles, back-to-back productions, Zoe made a decision to slow down, not quit, not disappear, just live. For the first time in years. She's doing things most people take for granted, dropping her kids off at school, taking mental breaks, being present, and surprisingly, that's where her creativity started to come back stronger than ever. She started tuning out the noise, literally, no podcasts, no constant opinions. Instead, she listens to calming frequencies like 963 hertz to reset her mind. And in that silence, she started writing again, creating stories, exploring ideas she never had time for before. For years, Zoe dominated blockbuster films. Aliens, warriors, assassins, fighters. She built a legacy playing powerful characters in massive universes. But behind the scenes, there was something missing. Connection. Early in her career, she was often the only woman in male-dominated casts. At first, it felt empowering. But over time, it felt isolating. Because there's a kind of understanding, a shared experience among women that you can't replicate. Now, she's shifting her focus. Not just acting, but creating, writing, directing, producing stories centered around women. Stories that reflect real emotions, real struggles, real complexity. Because as she puts it, women are not one-dimensional. They are layered, evolving, powerful, and deserve more screen time. One moment from Avatar stayed with her deeply. A scene where a woman gives birth in the middle of chaos. Not fictional chaos, but something that mirrors real life. Because around the world, women are giving birth in war zones, in extreme conditions, without safety, without choice. And Zoe wanted people to feel that, to understand that while some live in comfort, others are fighting just to survive. Not everything in her journey has been smooth. Her Oscar-winning film, Emilia Pérez, sparked debates, criticism, backlash, conversations about representation. But instead of avoiding it, she faced it. She acknowledged the imperfections, but stood by the heart of the work. Because real art isn't perfect. It's honest. Despite all her success, Zoe admits something surprising. She's competitive. Hard on herself. Sometimes her biggest challenge isn't the industry. It's her own expectations. But over time, she's learned to manage something most people ignore: her ego. She describes it in a way that hits differently. Ego is like cholesterol, there's good and bad. You need it to create, to share, to believe in yourself. But too much, and it consumes you. So here's the truth about Zoe Saldaña. She's not just the highest grossing actor in history. She's a mother being teased by her kids, a woman redefining success, an artist learning when to push and when to pause. And maybe that's why her story resonates. Because in a world obsessed with numbers, fame, and validation, she reminds us of something simple. Success means nothing if you lose yourself along the way.